114 units. We want to do a redevelopment of the site where we have only 63 units, but they be larger. And it will provide services and shelter to prevent people from going into homelessness. That project will also have a commercial establishment on the ground floor. And it's not our project, the city government. I'm just telling you about things that's going on. And then there's the budget. Our budget has been quite something to watch if you're not directly involved in it. So we're trying to learn from how things are done over the past years and do things differently. Our fiscal year is the calendar year, and we're trying to change that. So we're trying to get our fiscal year changed to be July 1 to June 30. And you might wonder, well, what difference would that make? Well, here's what happens right now. Our elections are in November. And so every time you have an election, you have someone win an election, they get sworn in early December, and then are supposed to vote on a budget in 2 weeks that they know absolutely nothing about. The budget is several hundred pages long. To expect someone to be able to grasp that in a couple of weeks and be educated about what's there and know which way they want to go is asking a lot. So if we did our budgeting in June, it would not collide with the election cycle. We also have been running up against the end of the year, and it's a holiday season, and we're going to 2 o'clock in the morning. There's just a lot of reasons to make the change, so we hope to do that. We are anticipating a cut in the local government fund from state government. We're anticipating a cut in the estate tax from state government. We're anticipating a cut in the tangible property tax from state government. I use the word anticipating is because the state budget has not yet passed. And so by the end of June, we'll kind of know where we are. Right now, we're just sort of guessing. We'll be playing a waiting game. We have had a relationship that formed going back, I guess, about a year or so now, with the citizen-specific renewal. One of the different things we want to do is have more citizen input into the budget process. But if that's going to be meaningful, it has to happen early in the process, not late. And we also want people to have a better understanding about the budget. And so over time, we hope that relationship will grow. We are continuing to advance the streetcar project. When you talk about being internationally competitive, when we go to Paris and Germany and Amsterdam and Rotterdam, and we try to convince people to come here, they already have all types of rail. And if your only transportation system is buses, you are not that competitive. And even with everything that DC is doing and over the Rhine, we still have 500 vacant buildings over the Rhine. We still have 92 acres of parking lots in downtown that you could put buildings on some of those parking lots and create more jobs and help expand the tax base. And then we're also looking for a police chief. Chief Stryker retired. We have been using assistant chiefs on an acting basis. And so I can't tell you a certain date that will be resolved. But hopefully before the end of July, we will have someone firmly in that seat. So there is a lot of things going on at the same time. And if you're a city manager in a city this size, that's a good thing. some people have the view, well, can we do one thing at a time? No city this size does things one thing at a time. You got to do multiple things simultaneously if you're going to create the interest about the city, the buzz about the city, or to grow the city. And I'm only giving you a fraction of what's going on in the limited time that I have. There are projects going on all over the city. I didn't mention this to you, but I should do that. We do see signs of the improving economy because our income tax receipts have been coming in higher than projected, which means more companies are now either calling people back or they're hiring new people. And that's where we get our tax base from. So that is a plus. The question is, will that continue throughout the year? And how fast will the growth be? So, only someone who can really read a crystal ball can tell you that. But that's what we are following. So, Mr. Woods wanted me to do some informal Q&A with you. If there's something you want me to talk a little more about, I will do that if I can. And that way it'll be more relevant to what you want to talk about. So, yes, ma'am.
If the fiscal year is changed, obviously either there's going to have to be an elongated budget of fiscal year or a truncated one. How do you envision it?
Well, the first thing I need to say, and I should have mentioned this, we do not have the authority to change it. The state auditor will have to do that, so we have formally asked him to make the change. We do not have an answer yet, but if they would say yes, the soonest that could occur would be July 1, 2012. So that would mean we probably have a 6-month budget from January to June of 2012, and then make the changeover, and then we still on a 2-year budget cycle, but it would be just from July 1 to June 30th every year. The change in the fiscal year, if we get approval, would make our fiscal year consistent with the state fiscal year. Right now it is not. And so by aligning it with state government, we think that also would make things a little bit easier with these overlapping periods. Yes, sir.
A lot of talk about growth, and that certainly makes sense, and there's a reason for that. Is there any thought about the reality of some of the decline and seeing the new census figures, not just in Cincinnati, but around the region, and wondering if instead of building on all those parking lots, if we should turn them into green space that would be better for the current citizenry, or any other thoughts around not growing but actually shrinking thoughtfully?
There has not been any regional attention given to that because the indicators are not really pointing in that direction. In the most recent census that we have, the census tracts that cover the downtown area actually show an increase in population. And that's telling us that more and more people want that urban experience. For us to get, we went into the Banks development